Hey guys, Rex here. It's getting pretty gosh darn terrible out there, don't you know? We better be very, very afraid. Be afraid. Be very afraid. Remember Andre the Giant in the movie Princess Bride? And he psyops all those bad guys with the robe, and I don't remember how he dressed up, but he scared the heck out of everybody. Be afraid. Be very afraid. Remember that? I submit to you that if you're scared of the news, you need to lay off the crack pipe, the digital crack pipe. I'm not going to be an asshole, but I'm just going to call it the way I see it. If you're trying to be a survival guy, you should not be allowed to be scared of dumb things like propaganda pamphlets dropped out of a damn airplane. Think of that context. What's the difference between some town in a war where they literally dropped a bunch of propaganda pamphlets into the town and everyone read them and got scared and did exactly what the enemy wanted them to do, which was to be scared? What's the difference between that and getting all fired up over the news? Do you think any possible permutation or amalgamation of the news and how it's received on our end is even remotely close to relevant or true? I think some guys watch too much television. Too much television. You guys read the book, right? Remember in the Exodus? Delicious. Remember how in the Exodus everyone was scared of Pharaoh? Like, oh no, Pharaoh's going to get us. Why did you bring us out here to die? And then they were scared that the chariots were going to get him. Oh my gosh. And then the fire died down for 1 second. Oh, the Pharaoh's going to get us now. There's no difference between the Pharaoh's going to get us now and the guys that are crying about how dire the situation is in the news. There is no difference between the guys that were crying about Pharaoh's chariots as they're cornered on the Red Sea and the guys, you hearing what I'm saying? The guys that are scared right now of Pharaoh and his chariots going to get us. Oh no, Putin, World War III. Yeah, I know. Rex, there's going to be a global thermonuclear war. Yeah, I know. That was written by Zechariah. I know. It's in the book. Of course there's going to be a global thermonuclear war. Probably on Tuesday. For real. I'm not trying to be funny. But you see, it's hard to explain it to people that can't see it. And it's addictive to be all up in a tizzy. It's addictive to be the adrenaline. The adrenaline rush is addictive. Mama and I, what the hell were we watching? It was at the end of the Shabbat, got dark, and I'm like, all right, catch up on, we're too tired to do anything. We're going to catch up on the Doom prepper stuff or whatever. So we clicked on a very large channels deal, and the guy's sitting there with the bunker behind him and the airplanes, and he's wearing this battle armor and shit. Prepper channels, right? You gotta play dress up, right? And this guy's like, listen here, people. And before he even starts talking, Mrs. Rex is just freaking laughing her ass off. Here's this guy with his body armor on, giving the World War III update. I know he's probably trying to sell body armor. I understand. I'm also a capitalist. It was funny. Really funny. You can't swing a cat in the prepper sphere without running into 5 emotional dudes per square inch that are just crying about Pharaoh. How prepped are you if you're crying about Pharaoh? That means you're standing on the X still. Still in the wrong frequency plane. Still at the altitude to where the missiles can reach. Still within range of the enemy. You didn't get off the X. Never got off the X yet. proves it. Fear of Pharaoh proves your perspective where it really is. And you can say you're not scared of shit, but then go on for hours and hours and hours and hours a week crying about Pharaoh still. So I call bullshit. I submit to you, if you guys want to find someone, and I'm not even telling you to come here, okay? I'm not even telling you to come here. Although you're probably already here. But if you're trying to find someone that's like a survival expert or something, don't pick the guys that are crying about how scary Pharaoh is. Right? Like, I always think of the Exodus situation. Just crying. So let's go over this. World War III. You guys ready for this? What was it that I heard on the news? Something about boats or something? Going to Havana, like Russian warships. Talking about this with my neighbors because they watch a lot of news. And they always want to bounce it off of me because I'm like I ground them, which is weird. I normally didn't used to be the guy that would ground everybody. I used to be the guy, like that crazy, insane, flustered chicken. Just going out like the entire prepper sphere. You just switch through them. Like just going nuts in the hen house, just freaking out. But neighbors were talking about it, and they're older, and they're both officers in the military back in the 80s and 90s, husband and wife. And neighbors like, they do war drill exercises, Russia has, in Havana for the last 70 damn years, every 2 years, with their submarines and all their battleships and stuff, all their warships, all their nuclear weapons. They've been doing that since the 60s or whatever, 60 years, 70 years, how long, since the 50s or 60s. Been doing it forever. Like, yeah, I know. Like, if you're not a scientifically minded person, but you're an emotionally minded person, you could be bamboozled very easily by not understanding the concept of establishing a baseline of frequency of events. Train crashes on the news. Because the news talks about it more that week, about train crashes, the perception of the clueless is that all of a sudden all the damn trains everywhere on the earth the trains are just crashing now. What's happening, Rex? First thing I do, let me look up the background. Let me look up the baseline. How many trains crash every year? How many per day? Oh, wow, several per day. How big of crashes? Oh, weird. So this is actually just normal. They just selected to put it on the news all of a sudden. Why? Because people are really dumb and they'll get flustered. And you see the preppers sphere line up with their microphones and all their stuff. And then, oh my God, the trains! Really, really steerable. Where there's fear, that's like the smoke to the fire. You know what I mean? If you're scared of World War III, why? All right, how about this? The other day, we went to the gas station. I can't remember what we're doing. Let's drive by the county deal where they're selling all the leftover trees for the county. Has like really cheap different kinds of trees they can, plant for farmers and stuff like that. And at the end of the year, whatever's left over, they just sell the public for, $1 a piece or whatever. So we stopped down there, ended up buying 40 trees, and we already got a pretty good orchard planted. In the amount of time I could have spent to watch like one Alex Jones video and a couple prepper videos, I planted a whole freaking vineyard. Another one, three of them. I got all sorts of berries, aronia berries, blueberries, what do you call those things? Not chokecherries, cranberries, and all kinds of stuff in a whole new giant, huge walk-in garden deal that I just planted. And we planted like 40 trees in 4 hours when I could have been doom scrolling and scared of the news. That's the actual solution. And then I came over here and planted a bunch of almond trees. And then came over here and planted a bunch of, I can't even remember, apricots for like $40 and 4 hours of labor. So you can cry about the news, or you can do the shit that makes it irrelevant. And if I do stuff like that every year, which is kind of the way I've been doing it, I'm addicted to that now. After Brother Saw shared his video, The Man Who Planted Trees. He wasn't worried about World War I and World War II. He just kept planting trees, and pretty soon he had a big, beautiful forest, but it used to be a desert. Problem solved. If World War III really is coming, which it is, what should you be doing with your time if you actually know that that's the case? Do you really believe it is coming? And it's funny because these guys get all spun up like, nobody actually believes World War III is coming. Why are you on the, you know what I mean? Well, then go and do the shit that makes World War III irrelevant. Get off the X. And if you're downwind of the X, put more dirt on top of your shit. You know what I mean? Like, there's simple, easy, cheap stuff you can do to basically survive that stuff, man. Get your water systems, get your, trees or whatever. Just one bite at a time. I am not worried at all about World War III. Do I know it's going to happen? Yes. Am I concerned enough to do shit? But here's the other thing, too. If some people, now listen carefully, some people, I'm going to need another beer, do this in such a way to where they're just freaking miserable. You can see it. If you're stressed out and sad in preparing for World War III, I submit to you, you should sign up for Zulu. Now, it's not available right now. Full class, but next year when it comes around. Sign up for Zulu if I'm still here, if we didn't get nuked by then. Because if you're miserable as you're doing your stuff, you're totally looking at everything in the wrong way and you're prepping wrong. If you're trying to it's not really, here's the situation. Everyone already has a tombstone. Everyone already has a grave picked out. Everyone has a dash between the two dates, when you were born and when you're going to die. Everyone's going to check out of here, so quit freaking worrying about dying. Now, live awesome within that dash, but you can overlap, right? You can make a beautiful homestead, orchard situation with swimming pools and beautiful winery, and you can live, and it doesn't cost money if you just plant a few trees here and there and dig a hole here and there and whatever you're going to do. Get some chickens at the hardware store when they're on sale. It's fun. And if World War III never comes in your lifetime, your life was not wasted. Oh no, I live in a beautiful orchard now. Oh no, I constructed a beautiful orchard for my kids and my grandkids. Oh no, I taught my children how to do all this beautiful stuff. It shouldn't be a bad deal. Plus, let me ask you this. If you're so damn worried about the world blowing up, why are you so much in love with the world? You heard that one, right? Why are you so in love with the world to where you're worried that it's going to blow up? All we control is that which is within our gates, guys. Within our gates, within our actual sphere of control. You cannot control if your neighbors get excited as you. And quite frankly, most people are so damn hysterical in how they come off on this stuff that they make themselves into an unwitting laughingstock of those around them. And they're not helping them. You want to help America become World War III resistant and not make it, it's got to be an addictive thing towards a good thing. 4-H or whatever thing, or the Future Farmers of America, or have a winery or a brewery to where you make all your stuff on site, or be that guy that owns the greenhouse. There's a greenhouse for sale just down the road here. Keep thinking about buying it. There's a huge asparagus field back there. I guess they commercially grow asparagus. I thought about doing that. And I could do that in my yard too. Oh no! Like World War III didn't happen. Now I have this beautiful, like, just if you live a wonderful life in an old school fashion, World War III happening or not is not really as relevant. You guys don't need to worry about that shit. I remember my father, because he grew up in the 50s and 60s, and I'd get all flustered about nuclear war being imminent, a few years ago. And he would just shake his head. He's like, calm down. That shit's going to happen one day. There's nothing you can do to stop it. All you can do is, like, live the way God wants you to live and live a good life. And if there's a damn nuclear war, well, then brush off the fallout and plant some shit and keep going. Now, if your life is centered on all the shit that is centered on in 2024, it would be a travesty. If you're worried about the electricity going out, that tells me a lot about what you rely on, right? Now, I know it's going to be very terrible, and a lot of people are going to die, probably almost everybody, and the radiation and all. I mean, like, just continue to work on one thing at a time. But again, I submit to you, there is already a tombstone with your name on it. If you think fourth dimensionally, it's already happened. Own it. Just make sure that that dash between those two dates is pointed in the right damn direction. Okay? And yes, of course, I hate using the word prep because it has so many retarded connotations to it in today's context. Commercialism type stuff. And like the doom scrolling apparatus from hell through the B-rods. It's too dumb for me to even consume. When someone today says, oh, I'm a prepper, you know what I think of immediately? I think of a guy on a couch scrolling through multiple freaking TikTok videos of how, like, the economy is going to crash next week. Just strung out. It's not freaking preparing, man. Scrolling through your freaking phone, watching video after video about how the economy is going to collapse next week is not preparing for that to happen. Oh, you need to buy gold. Okay. I mean, like, what do you need to live? You need to drink water, you need to eat food, and you need to have shelter. That shit is freely available. Did you know you can walk by a tree in the neighborhood when it's going through its seed cycle and just grab the shit off the tree and then throw that in the ground and then trees will happen? You just got to have patience and you got to be tenacious. I'll tell you guys a story about tenacity. I learned that word from a Marine when I was a kid. When I was a kid, I was in the auxiliary of the United States Air Force called Civil Air Patrol. It was one of the things my dad insisted us kids would do, in addition to, like, taekwondo and whatever. And they'd have, like, all different kinds of deals for the kids. We'd fly airplanes, we'd do search and rescue missions, real ones and training ones, and we'd have encampments and radio conventions, and we do RDF, radio direction finding deals with the old 1950s equipment at the old base. We'd put on little Air Force uniforms and learn to march and do PT and all that shit. And yes sir, no sir, read the book, learn about the history of the Air Force and the Army Air Corps and all that. Kind of a cool deal for kids, at least when I thought it was pretty cool. All my little school buddies did it. And one of the guest guys they had come in one week was a Marine recruiter. And we were still just little kids. We were like in grade school or something like that. And he came in and, the posture and the pose, right? Like very authoritative, very squared away, and he goes up on the chalkboard and he writes in capital letters, tenacity. What does this word mean? And we're all like, and he explained, it's like, if you want cool shit to happen, the only way it's going to happen is if you do it. manifest reality. You have to apply the pressure, and you have to continue the effort with tenacious ferocity, which means you do it and 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 you do it until you freaking got it, and then you keep doing it. Every day you put in the time to do whatever it is that you're trying to accomplish. Tenacity. He gave about an hour speech on that, explaining in the context of his Marine Corps stuff, and I remembered that word, and I did it. I did it when I learned the guitar. You have to practice every day unless you want to take 40 years to play the guitar. I learned the guitar in 1 year, which is a pretty good accomplishment, because I practiced every day for at least 4 hours every day. And I learned all my chords. I could play bar chords. I could do lead. I was playing professionally on year 2 at like paying gigs, like every weekend. You know what I mean? Because like you just got to push. And it's nice to have talent, but like the thing is you push for it. Same thing with rifle shooting. I learned about ballistics with tenacity. I sat down with the damn Hornady ballistics, external ballistics science manual, and frickin' figured out the math for a year. I put in countless hours doing firing tables, trying to reorganize data, just trying to figure out how to like interpolate between my observed data and work out a system, basically an analog ballistic system of observation where you could write down the stuff. But it was tenacious effort. Kids nowadays never heard of that shit. It's the TikTok generation, or the freaking Instagram is terrible. Pay attention to something for 3 seconds max, continue. And it's all about sitting in a chair and flipping through shit on your phone too, see? You have to apply tenacious effort to get anything done. It goes for the scriptures. Man, I was tenacious with my study of Genesis for like at least 8 years before I moved on to Exodus and stuff. I mean, Genesis and Exodus was my favorites for about 8 or 10 years straight. Here's something to encourage you. I'm just a little bit of a pep rally speech maybe. But you don't need to worry about freaking World War III if you're tenacious in the right direction. First off, if it blows you up, oh no, I went to heaven. Or whatever the afterlife is, okay? Because I know that there's a lot of different versions of what that word means. Oh no, I have to be on the resurrection until life. Right? Oh no, what a travesty. A nuclear war blew me up and I had to skip all the hard shit. Calm down. They're going to get us. Pharaoh's going to get us. Calm down. You're not acting like a man of faith. Oh no, Pharaoh's going to get us. We should make an acronym for this so that we can remind people, like, to calm down, bro. Translation. 99% of all prepper videos where they're scared of the news. Oh no, Pharaoh's going to get us. Part 5,857. Freaking calm down. Pharaoh might get you. Sure as hell he can't get me where I'm at. I'm not on the X. And if he wants to drive all the way to Rex's house, Pharaoh's going to drive all the way to Rex's house. Because what did I do? Now, if you stand outside Pharaoh's house and sling shit at him all day, or launch shit at him all day from your B-rod position, yeah, maybe he'll try to get you then. But you need to calm down. You need to trust that Elohim. Did you not know that this is a test? Did you not know that being scared of Pharaoh is violating the first commandment? You can't have other mighty ones. And when you're scared of the news, you're violating the first commandment. You're fearing other mighty ones. And you can say the same, you can say it, but still do it. That's the freaking crazy part. Guys say the true part, but then they do the opposite when they're scared of Pharaoh. You got to live that way. It really does not matter what happens outside our gates. if your gates are sealed by Elohim, for real. Now, do you really believe that? If so, demonstrate it. Otherwise, I call bullshit. The terror goes through the camp of Israel, right? Just freaking. And it's like funny too, because it's propaganda pamphlets. Everyone is just barking at the television. Do you not know that television is designed to freaking trick you? It's like the entire purpose of the television is to get you to fear their Elohims. They're going to project their imagery across the face of the earth so that you can be baptized in their bullshit religion and fear their Elohims and make you really believe that the world revolves around freaking politics and shit. It does, Rex. If your world revolves around politics, oofta. I don't know. You guys tracking? It's a simple concept, but for some it's very difficult to execute, because I think that it really boils down, and here's the honest reality, and I'm not going to be mean, but I will say this. I don't see evidence in a lot of folks that they really believe in Elohim. If you're freaking constantly, if your center of gravity, if the vast majority of your bell curve of time spent making noise about how scary Pharaoh's freaking dilemma is, then I submit to you, you are wrong. And that you don't actually fear Elohim, you actually don't believe that he's exists, or you don't believe that you're going to be covered by him. We spend way too much time at the feet of other Elohim. I literally do believe that nuclear freaking holocaust could happen tomorrow morning. In fact, sometimes when lightning goes off on the horizon, for a split second, I'm like, oh, there, we're starting. Because it would be within view of me. It wouldn't be blown up. It wouldn't even really get windy here. Potentially in some fallout, but like, there's no reason to fear it. There's no running away from that one. That is the curse that goeth forth over the face of the whole earth. We all know it's going to happen. We've been told it's going to happen for a long time. Do stuff to fix it if you're so scared of it. You know, I grew up in a house that had a bomb shelter. My grandfather, when he came back from World War II, had a bomb shelter with just concrete blocks, dirt floors, concrete slab on top, and a couple feet of dirt on top of that. It was the root cellar. At the bottom of the stairs, there'd be a platform, and then you'd go down another level. And he made that probably for $200. Just a gravel floor and concrete cinder blocks mortared together, and then a concrete slab on top, and then shelves. And we used it as a root cellar. They never called it a bomb shelter when I was a kid, but that's what it was. And it's not bad to prepare for stuff like that. Everyone should have something like that ready if you're in an area that's susceptible to that or whatever, or move where that's not a problem, right? Look at the wind, whatever, but it just, the travesty is, guys, here's the travesty. This is why it's worth talking about from me to you. You are missing out on enjoying your life with your children when you act like that. And you're poisoning them and everyone else with your bullshit fear. If you guys are looking for an elder to follow the example of, find someone who is steadfast in their faith enough not to be scared of other Elohims. They can acknowledge that, yeah, I know, Pharaoh's absolutely driving his chariot straight at us, but don't worry about him. That's the guy you want to follow. Don't worry about it. I don't need to get flustered. You should be happy and joyful that your redemption is coming. But see, that requires alignment to Papa. But as little children in Papa, we know he will protect us. Right? Right? Shouldn't be scared. That's the first time I thought of that shit all week. And since I watched it on the thing there. Just smoking the pipe. Just hoofing on the digital crackpipe. The DCP just, whoa, Putin, man. The Russians have been there since 1946 trying to blow us up with their shit. You know what I mean? The world has always been on the brink. Every generation has its test. There's Genghis Khan, as the center of gravity of the world is terrible. We're super blessed. And if you're not appreciating your state of being super blessed, but you're trying to live in a world to where you create this freaking smoke cloud to convince everyone it's just so terrible, you're not appreciating the blessings while we have them. You are super blessed to be able to sit in peace on the porch with running water. You can call your bro on the phone. Have a brewski imported from frickin' Germany for cheap. This is like $1 or $2 or something for this thing. Unbelievable. We're living like kings. Should be appreciative of the blessings we have while we have them. Not to just indulge like idiots. But I mean, put in the time. Be tenacious in the right direction. Make Babylon irrelevant again. Pharaoh should be irrelevant to a man of Elohim. Completely irrelevant. Doesn't matter. Should not matter to you. Should not give one shit. What did Jesus and the apostles, Yeshua and the apostles, which guy did they vote for the Roman emperor, you think, if they were allowed to vote? Oh, Tiberius, is looking pretty good this year. Didn't freaking matter to them because they weren't operating on that frequency. They were worried about not living up to Papa's expectations, and that's it. Let me know if this is helpful below. You guys have a wonderful evening. We'll catch you on the flip side. Rex out.